Hello, my name is Patrick. I'm 39 years old living in Toronto, Ontario. In November 2022, I was building a deck in our backyard when I lost my footing and fell down the unfinished stairs. I fractured and dislocated my shoulder, tore my ACL, and have a lower brachial plexus nerve injury in my right arm. The fracture and dislocation was a level of pain I've never felt before. Within 5 minutes, I lost all motor function in my arm due to nerve damage. The recovery was incredibly painful, physically and emotionally. After 6 months, I was strong enough to use crutches and had my ACL reconstructive surgery. Post-surgery was difficult because my emotional tank was still empty from my initial injury. I was depressed, felt hopeless, and thought this cycle of pain would never end. Today, I'm mostly recovered, but still have chronic pain. My question to the panel is, how can long-term chronic pain affect someone's mental health? Should they see a mental health professional alongside a physiotherapist?
And while physical pain is often observable and measurable, emotional pain, as we've been discussing, can be just as profound, affecting mental health and daily functioning. So sometimes pain can be worse because you anticipate it, or some types of pain can force you to put your life on hold while the world carries on without you. Is that fear of missing out part of it?
Oh, definitely, because chronic pain or acute pain, they really can have the potential to change people's life for a very long time. So it is very common for people to grieve about their old life, the life before they had pain. So that being said, I remember one of the panelists said before that the fact that you have pain doesn't mean that you are sentenced. From our perspective, the ultimate goal is to help people live with pain to have a fulfilling life despite pain.
And can I ask, how successful, what's the success rate for that?
So while decades of research has demonstrated that psychological intervention is quite effective in helping people either alleviating pain or to improve their functioning level so that they can do things that matter to them.
That's a whole trend in fitness, regular fitness, not pain-related, but it's functional fitness. The important thing is being able to do, get through your day.
Yeah, absolutely. The most important physio question is like, if you had no pain tomorrow, what would you be doing? What would your life look like? That's what we're always asking. Like you're talking about something called biographical suspension, where people put their lives on hold. And we say, like, you don't need to fix yourself before you start doing the things that you love, which is such a different shift from the past. But like meaningful activity, that's rehab. Like, what are the things that bring you value and happiness? And that's the functional things that we work on.
Now, is there almost a placebo effect? If people take some of the meds, they think it's helping them, even though, it's not observable?
So the placebo effect, it's definitely a controversial topic because there are some studies done, but we haven't really come to any conclusion whether it's going to make a significant difference or not in their pain control. Now, a lot of the times, even giving some emotional support, it's a big step and role that we play even as pharmacists. Being the first line of care for a lot of people, they may not be able to see their doctor in a timely fashion. So they will come to us in the pharmacy. They will vent to us about some of the issues that they're going through, whether it's with their pain or other things that may be contributing to their pain. And a lot of times just venting this to us as pharmacists and for us to listen and give an empathetic approach can actually make a big difference opposed to just recommending an over-the-counter medication option for their pain. So it definitely is more than we can offer than just giving an over-the-counter medication, but definitely that emotional aspect to it as well.
So just listening helps. Haley.
Absolutely, and I shared an anecdote about our amazing music therapist that used to work in a hospice that I was part of several years ago and works at Princess Margaret, and the pain relief that people shared just by listening to her play music or creating music, and it sounds like there's evidence to actually support that.
Yeah, there's some really great research on music therapy. For a long time, there's been studies, we've noticed that it helps, but we don't know why. And what we're starting to think is that it actually activates the pleasure centers of the brain, so the dopaminergic responses. And that, in turn, and we still don't know why, is involved in modulating pain and reducing pain. But I wanted to, I want to build on what Prabh said. The emotional support is true in that there's evidence, experimental evidence, that if you put someone in the MRI scanner and you give them pain, and you just have their partner hold their hand while they receive pain versus a stranger holding their hand, you can reduce their pain about 30 to 40%.
Wow.
Yeah. So that emotional support is a key factor in pain care.
How do you
The
find
element
that?
of emotional components related to the pain is an important one. Pain is a very personal experience. And if you look at the pain pathways, it passes through the centers of the brain that controls our emotions as well. So a big part of what we do is to talk to patients how the pain can become catastrophized. We all have very creative minds, and we can imagine so many different scenarios related to future. And if we do this or that activity, maybe the pain will become worse. That element of safety is very important, to talk to the patient that if you move, it will not make your condition worse. And decatastrophize that idea related to the pain is a big component of feeling better and improving.
How about getting back to things? I mean, after you've had pain or some conditions, often people are kind of hesitant. And especially with something like exercise, once you've not been doing it for a long time, like laziness sets in.
Yeah, it's hard to start again with exercise, and this is where the physical and the mental come together, because people are fearful, right? And that's why, like, a physical intervention doesn't always work because someone got stronger. It works because they get trust again in their body, and that's what we're looking for. And this is this concept of exposure. But I will say with exercise, for just some recommendations there, what people don't realize, we're often taught you got to go work out for an hour. You know, it has to be intense, it has to be like this. And we know now from most of the research, we can do movement snacks or exercise snacks, where brief bouts of activity, 10 minutes, 2 minutes done throughout the day. A lot of this research is done at McMaster, just down the road. Like, that gets huge benefits. So the barrier to entry is so much less than what people realize. Like, little bits really add up. Like, we need more ways for people to keep moving, and that's one of them.
Sounds like a good idea. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.